Think you really know 70s and 80s cinema? 40 questions. Let's begin. In which movie do we hear the line, "I'll be back"? A. Die Hard. B. The Terminator. C. RoboCop. D. Predator. B. The Terminator. The Terminator launched Arnold Schwarzenegger as a global action superstar. Who directed Jaws, 1975? A. Steven Spielberg. B. George Lucas. C. Brian De Palma. D. Ridley Scott. A. Steven Spielberg. Jaws is widely considered the first modern summer blockbuster. Which movie features a time-traveling DeLorean? A. Blade Runner. B. E.T. C. Back to the Future. D. Ghostbusters. The answer is C. Back to the Future. Back to the Future was originally going to use a refrigerator instead of a car as the time machine. Who played Rocky Balboa? A. Robert De Niro. B. Al Pacino. C. Burt Reynolds. D. Sylvester Stallone. D. Sylvester Stallone. Rocky won the Academy Award for Best Picture. In which film do we first meet Darth Vader? A. Star Wars, 1977. B. The Empire Strikes Back. C. Close Encounters. D. Flash Gordon. A. Star Wars, 1977. Star Wars revolutionized special effects and launched a global franchise. Who played Indiana Jones? A. Mel Gibson. B. Harrison Ford. C. Kurt Russell. D. Tom Selleck. B. Harrison Ford. Raiders of the Lost Ark was produced by George Lucas and directed by Steven Spielberg. Which movie features the character E.T.? A. Cocoon. B. Gremlins. C. Poltergeist. D. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. D. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. E.T. the Extraterrestrial became the highest-grossing film of the 80s for over a decade. Who played Jack Torrance in The Shining? A. Dustin Hoffman. B. Jack Nicholson. C. Anthony Hopkins. D. Gene Hackman. B. Jack Nicholson. The Shining was directed by Stanley Kubrick and is now considered one of the greatest horror films ever made. In which movie do we see a giant ape climbing the World Trade Center? A. King Kong, 1976. B. Superman. C. Gremlins. D. The Fly. A. King Kong, 1976. King Kong updated the original 1933 story for a modern audience. Which 1984 film features the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? A. Beetlejuice. B. Ghostbusters. C. Poltergeist. D. Gremlins. B. Ghostbusters, 1984. Ghostbusters became a massive pop culture phenomenon. Who directed Taxi Driver, 1976? A. Francis Ford Coppola. B. Martin Scorsese. C. Brian De Palma. D. Sidney Lumet. B. Martin Scorsese. Taxi Driver stars Robert De Niro and features the iconic line, "You talkin' to me?" In Alien, 1979, who played Ripley? A. Jamie Lee Curtis. B. Carrie Fisher. C. Sigourney Weaver. D. Meryl Streep. C. Sigourney Weaver. Alien turned Ripley into one of the first major female action heroes. Which 1988 film stars Bruce Willis as John McClane? A. Lethal Weapon. B. Die Hard. C. Commando. D. Cobra. B. Die Hard, 1988. Die Hard was originally offered to several actors before Bruce Willis was cast. Who directed The Godfather, 1972? A. William Friedkin, B. Martin Scorsese, C. George Lucas, D. Francis Ford Coppola. D. Francis Ford Coppola. The Godfather won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. In Blade Runner, 1982, what are the artificial humans called? A. Replicants, B. Androids, C. Clones, D. Synths. A. Replicants. Blade Runner became a cult classic despite underperforming at the box office initially. Which 1985 film features a group of high school students in detention? A. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, B. The Breakfast Club, C. Stand By Me, D. Pretty in Pink. B. The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club was directed by John Hughes and defined teen cinema of the 80s. Who composed the score for Star Wars, 1977? A. Ennio Morricone, B. Hans Zimmer, C. John Williams, D. Jerry Goldsmith. C. John Williams. John Williams has won multiple Oscars and created some of the most recognizable film themes ever. Which 1987 film features a young boy wishing to become big? A. Big, B. Short Circuit, C. Splash, D. Gremlins. A. Big, 1988. Big earned Tom Hanks his first Academy Award nomination. In The Empire Strikes Back, 1980, who reveals, "I am your father"? A. Obi-Wan Kenobi, B. Darth Vader, C. Yoda, D. The Emperor. B. Darth Vader. The Empire Strikes Back kept this twist secret even from much of the cast. Which 1978 horror film features Michael Myers? A. Friday the 13th, B. The Omen, C. Halloween, D. Carrie. C. Halloween. Halloween was directed by John Carpenter on a very small budget. 20 questions done. How are you going? It gets harder from here. Who directed Raging Bull, 1980? A. Martin Scorsese, B. Stanley Kubrick, C. Alan Parker, D. Ridley Scott. A. Martin Scorsese. Raging Bull is often considered one of the greatest films ever made. Which 1982 film is about a stranded alien befriending a child? A. The Thing, B. E.T. the Extraterrestrial, C. Cocoon, D. Explorers. B. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. The film was nominated for 9 Academy Awards. In Scarface, 1983, who played Tony Montana? A. Robert De Niro, B. Al Pacino, C. Joe Pesci, D. Harvey Keitel. B. Al Pacino. Scarface became a cult favorite despite mixed reviews at release. Which 1979 film features the spaceship Nostromo? A. Star Trek, the motion picture, B. Moonraker, C. Alien, D. The Black Hole. C. Alien. The chestburster scene shocked even some of the actors during filming. Who directed Full Metal Jacket, 1987? A. Oliver Stone, B. Francis Ford Coppola, C. Brian De Palma, D. Stanley Kubrick. D. Stanley Kubrick. Full Metal Jacket was partially filmed in England, not Vietnam. Which 1975 film won the Academy Award for Best Picture? A. Chinatown, B. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, C. Dog Day Afternoon, D. Barry Lyndon. B. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. One of the few films to win the Big 5 at the Oscars. Who directed The Thing, 1982? A. Wes Craven, B. Toby Hooper, C. John Carpenter, D. David Cronenberg. C. John Carpenter. The Thing was initially a box office disappointment but is now considered a horror masterpiece. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981, what is Indiana Jones searching for? A. The Holy Grail, B. The Ark of the Covenant, C. The Crystal Skull, D. The Spear of Destiny. B. The Ark of the Covenant. Raiders of the Lost Ark was nominated for 9 Academy Awards and won 5. Which 1984 film was directed by Milos Forman? A. Amadeus, B. The Right Stuff, C. Out of Africa, D. Platoon. A. Amadeus. Amadeus won 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Who played Alex DeLarge in A Clockwork Orange, 1971? A. Michael Caine, B. Malcolm McDowell, C. Alan Bates, D. John Finch. B. Malcolm McDowell. It was directed by Stanley Kubrick and was controversial upon release. Don't stop now. The toughest questions are next. Let's see who's a true expert. Which 1986 film starred Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley again? A. The Abyss, B. Aliens, C. Predator, D. The Fly. B. Aliens. Aliens was directed by James Cameron and earned Weaver an Oscar nomination. Who directed The Deer Hunter, 1978? A. Michael Cimino, B. Martin Scorsese, C. Sidney Lumet, D. Hal Ashby. A. Michael Cimino. The Deer Hunter won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. In Scarface, 1983, what is the name of Tony Montana's wife? A. Elvira Hancock, B. Gina Montana, C. Michelle Pfeiffer, D. Maria Shriver. A. Elvira Hancock. Elvira was played by Michelle Pfeiffer, and the role boosted her international career. Which 1979 film won Best Picture at the Oscars? A. Apocalypse Now, B. All That Jazz, C. Norma Ray, D. Kramer vs. Kramer. D. Kramer vs. Kramer. Kramer vs. Kramer starred Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep. Who directed Blue Velvet, 1986? A. David Lynch, B. David Cronenberg, C. Brian De Palma, D. John Carpenter. A. David Lynch. Blue Velvet became a defining example of Lynch's surreal style. In The Shining, what is the name of the Overlook Hotel caretaker before Jack? A. Mr. Delbert Grady, B. Lloyd, C. Dick Halloran, D. Stuart Ullman. A. Mr. Delbert Grady. Grady appears as a ghostly figure who influences Jack's descent into madness. Which 1987 film features the line, "Nobody puts baby in a corner"? A. Flashdance, B. Footloose, C. Dirty Dancing, D. Pretty Woman. C. Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing became a surprise box office hit worldwide. Who composed the score for Halloween, 1978? A. Ennio Morricone, B. John Williams, C. John Carpenter, D. Bernard Herrmann. C. John Carpenter. John Carpenter composed the iconic theme in just a few days. Which 1982 film was directed by Ridley Scott? A. Blade Runner, B. The Thing, C. Tron, D. Poltergeist. A. Blade Runner. Ridley Scott created a cyberpunk aesthetic that influenced decades of sci-fi films. In Apocalypse Now, what is Colonel Kurtz's famous final line? A. This is the end, B. The horror, C. Never get off the boat, D. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. B. The Horror. The Horror. Apocalypse Now starred Marlon Brando as Colonel Kurtz in one of cinema's most iconic performances. That's all 40 questions. How did you go? Comment your score below. And don't miss part 4.